But in all this while, I believe that there is a high degree of anxiety among you about your future. Even more so when you know you are not being involved in shaping that future. Even more so when what you hear is that you are but young to be significantly involved in shaping today's economics, today's politics, and today's culture. Young people, spare no time to assert what now have become an adage, a maxim, a saying among those who are marginalized and excluded, and it is this: nothing about us without us. Nothing about youth without youth. Indeed, nothing about youth without youth participating fully and directly in the development and implementation of policy about them. And on global public health, nothing about youth and health without youth. I want to congratulate you today for joining in the second annual Youth Pre-Conference in preparation for the 63rd annual DPI NGO conference in Melbourne. You made a major leap in the right direction, preparing yourselves for leadership in the many endeavors that will come your way and demand your attention, not the least on MDGs and global public health. Today you are making a claim upon your future, and the future is now. And your presence here is a major step to claiming a stake in fashioning a world that will make you and your societies prosperous, but also socially responsible, mighty and strong, but also peaceful and non-interventionary, progressive and developed, but also sustainable and ecologically responsible, sovereign, yes, but multilateral in resolving many of the intractable problems, including diseases that hold and no passports, just like what Minnie has said. The principles of the United Nations beckon upon you as a clarion call, mandating us all to secure our nations and our world, to make security a shared burden and responsibility. To secure our world from non-passport-bearing epidemics and pandemics such as AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria, and recently the influenza called AH1N1 virus, that our medical expertise, our epidemiologists, our epidemiological know-how, and our social infrastructures cannot sustain and be saddled with if we are to realize health as a human right. To secure our world from debilitating and dehumanizing hunger and poverty, so that no longer must they paint a picture of a hungry child going to bed with an empty stomach, even when we know there is so much food wasted elsewhere. To secure our world from endemic hunger and poverty is to secure food, to secure fuel, to secure finance, so that whatever development and financial architecture that are being put in place, it will redound to the betterment of everyone and not just a few. I am always in awe of young people's unvarnished assessments of the world and peoples they encounter. On many occasions, my own sense and sensibilities have been pleasantly, albeit uncomfortably challenged by youthful and sometimes irreverent critique. And so today, I welcome the occasion to offer this thought that I have just said to you young people. We exchange ideas, as certainly you will for those of you who will go to Melbourne, how to better our world from the mess that we in the older generations are by default bequeathing to you. I must say mea culpa, because in your present and in your future is a formidable challenge, a challenge of 1 minute from Minnie. This preparatory conference is a timely venue to prepare you for the very many crucial issues that Melbourne beckons upon us. Young people, this is your century. Own it, define it, shape and mold it. And I apologize for the miss and the mess created by my generation and the ones before it. even as I also offer myself at your service for a present and a future for you and your children and mine. You are harbingers of a new world. It is a world you will fashion so that you and your descendants will live in fullness and wholeness, in good health, and in a good public health service that is made possible by all stakeholders. To you, young people, belong not latent but active power that must be harnessed now. You are not hope for the future because you are hope now. You have the power to redirect your energies to better, more peaceful, and just uses. In closing, and that's skipping 8 paragraphs.
Thank you, Levy.
You have the power to redirect your energies to better, more peaceful, and just uses. Redirect military budgets to global public health, for example. You will by now realize that from your ranks, at a year or 2 older, come most of the soldiers in the world. We have to redirect those monies to young soldiers and to education and to global public health. I salute you indeed for preparing yourselves, not just for Melbourne, but for the many years ahead and for the daunting tasks that the many issues, intractable as they are, present before us.
Thank you, Levy.
I exceeded it. Thank you.
And I just want to add 4 Ds to the 3 Ds you said. Dialogue. Youth needs to have dialogue, not only among yourselves, but also with us.
That was my last paragraph.
I don't care.
My last paragraph actually would have said, dialogue is far cheaper than arms. Dialogue is far cheaper than war.
By 4 Ds. Thank you. It's dialogue and work on issues which are dear to your heart.
Right.
And that is MDGs, because we all share a common language. It doesn't matter how many melanin pigment cells we have, but we all have the same gray matter and the same blood, which is same color. And the other D is direct. We need to be directly working for the development of the MDGs. And now it's my pleasure to welcome Adam Smith, who is our visitor from Melbourne. Thank you so much for flying halfway around the world. And Adam has a very impressive bio, but he also has a pet kangaroo. And the kangaroo called Joey didn't come with him. It's in Melbourne, and I hope you introduce me to Joey.
I will.
And I'm so happy because Adam is really what all the energy of youth harness in a great way. So Adam, take it away. The mic is all yours.
I used to be able to say that I was a member of the youth community, but now young people in Australia see my grey hair and they say you can no longer speak on our behalf.
So, okay,
I would like to thank everybody so much, but particularly to Joanne and to David for inviting me to be here today. I really look forward to welcoming a large number of you to my hometown of Melbourne, which is, you can understand I'm very biased, but I think it's absolutely one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And
only after New York, sorry.
Only after, well, I'll get to New York because I grew up in a very quiet, beautiful area of Australia by the beach, like what you might imagine from some of our films and television shows. And I grew up thinking that I had an awareness of the world and had a belief that I cared about humanity and that I really understood what it was like for young people like me and for young people who were not like me. And I made a very big decision after I finished high school. I had just turned 18 and I thought, I really want to do something very different. And I really want to be in an environment that was very different to anything I'd been in before. And I decided I would come to New York. And I came to New York when I just turned 18, and I got a job working here on a summer camp program with the Coalition for the Homeless. And I started working with street kids across the city and would take groups of these street children to a state park about an hour and a half from